Hey guys, it's Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and hey, I'm back. And it's been a right at a 2 year hiatus that I've taken. I've done a couple of little things like some tarot readings, and I have some one on one clients. But for the most part, I took a step back from my business, frankly, because of some health issues that really just made it too difficult to try to commit to anything. But I'm happy to say that my energy's up. I'm feeling great, and every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And I'm just so excited to be reconnecting with you and the whole TOC Master Your Money Mindset community. And I'm so excited to announce that one of the staples, or I guess it would be, this is really one of the pillars of our community, and it's the Virtual Commanding Wealth Circle. And I want to tell you a little bit about the circle, why it matters, and how you can get involved with this free group. I'm going to give you all the information about when it meets and how you can access the group live because it's interactive and get your questions answered. And then how would you access the replay so that you can continue the practice? So let's just get into it for a moment. If you haven't yet, if you want to say hello, I'm always happy to see everybody. I'm just jumping on. I didn't make an announcement. But if you want to comment or say hello, be sure and grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. And basically, it just is the way for me to be able to see your comments and answer your questions. Okay. So, what is the circle? Well, the circle is a small interactive group, meaning I'm facilitating the group, and we are creating a space to support you in your journey to manifest, create, or design the life you desire. Well, that sounds amazing, but what is it actually? Well, I think the most important part is that we're taking that time and we're dedicating this space to an idea greater than itself. We're taking that time, as Wayne Dwyer says, is that all manifesting happens within a space. So this is to create a pause in your thinking, in your day, to create a space energetically within this group that we can hold for each other the fulfillment of each other's desire and be the witness that it's true. And I want to share with you a little bit of a story about how this came about. And it's a little long, but it's so important because it has so many of the key elements. I was first introduced to the circle by my mentor, Asara Lovejoy. Now, Asara already worked in a circle format when she had the Reiki circles or different healing circles, or when she was a had a state license vocational school and she taught hypnotherapy. She had these circles so that people could come in and experience the work and have a way to practice, right? And I hosted those circles for her. So I already had a lot of experience, had a lot of big wins and amazing miracles that happened as a result of these circles of holding this intention. And I really got to grow as a healer and a teacher, but I also got to experience a lot of personal healing. And there was physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual release. All of it was happening in this beautiful space that we joined together and we set an intention for a loving, powerful outcome. So we already had that as a background, and I used circles as a way to promote my business. When I was teaching another healing modality, I put together a little circle and I said, hey, I've read this book. This is the technique. Let's try it out together. And that's how I sold my classes. Well, Asara had a class that at the time was called The Emotion of Money, and now it's called Commanding Wealth, and I'm the one that facilitates that class. But in the class, the last day, after doing so much processing and releasing and expanding, and if you've ever been in a transpersonal class like that or space, you know that a lot of times what happens is you get really excited about the possibility, But immediately, what will happen when you get back to your real life, you deflate. And you go, what was I thinking? Or you might even forget all the things that you'd spent a powerful period of time learning and developing. So, what that happened, of course, someone's coming to the door, but I can't talk now. So, in this, Asara wanted to create an environment that we could practice this technique that we had learned called the one command, which is about training you to leave your ordinary thinking, to release your any blocks or family programmings and clear it all the way down to the DNA level and command for a new outcome. So Asara wanted people to be able to have the practice, and in the group, it was groups. I think there was about 35 people in this very first class that we'd ever taught. And so we had our little groups together, and I think there were groups of about 6 people. And everyone was going around stating what it was they wanted. And some people got really high, right? They were like, oh, yeah, I want a castle, and I want this and that and that. And they had the big, amazing, outlandish vision. And they wanted a safe place to say it without ridicule. They simply wanted that dream to be acknowledged. In your regular life, are you sharing your big vision or your big dream with people because you don't want to be questioned or let the doubt or have the naysayers come in or have people maybe even actively work against you? Well, that's why this was such a powerful experience for these people. And then there were some other people that were terrified to even think of asking for anything because they had been so conditioned to not ask. And if there was anything in their life that they'd shown that they wanted, need, or desired, they were punished for it. And there's a lot of trauma. And one woman literally wound up on the floor crying and vomiting because so much trauma came out because she had never been in a safe space to share what she really wanted. And the group held the space with her, and there was nobody impatient. There's nobody going, hey, listen, I'm trying to get my castles over here. Right. And then there was another person that he really got the vision that he could become debt free. And he was a chiropractor, and his business had been failing for a long time, and he was racking up debt. And he literally terrified the group when he stated his command, which was, and I'll tell you the format, I don't know how my debt of $945,000 is now clear. I only know I am debt free now and I am fulfilled. And when he said that statement, and he was in a group across the room, but somehow every ear grew about 20 times larger and heard that. And you heard that ripple of fear like, how did you get that big a debt? That's too much. That's not realistic. But what was interesting was it wasn't criticism, it was fear of facing this monster called debt. And very often we struggle with debt. We struggle with making money. In fact, a lot of times it's easier to ask for, visualize, imagine that your income's 10 times or 100 times more rather than trying to figure out how you could increase your income $500. There's limitation there. The debt has so much energy and power, and there's shame and regret and anger and resentment, and there's all this emotion holding that in place rather than letting that debt serve you and fulfill its purpose. And the purpose of creating that debt was for you to fulfill your dreams. He just ran into a little trouble. He had such a big heart for service. He was afraid to ask for his clients to pay for the services rendered. He wasn't turning in the insurance. He felt bad for asking for that money. And that had resulted in his debt. By the way, in another circle, not very long after, a couple of years later, a woman was in my class, did a command to release her debt, went home. She wanted to forgive her debt. She was prepared to do the work, but she wanted that debt forgiven. And she came home, and a week later, she got a letter from the bank saying that the second mortgage on her property that was actually causing her to drown and struggle financially was completely forgiven. She hadn't asked for that to happen, and yet it was completely forgiven. So sometimes there's an obstacle that feels so big, and you need someone to just witness and be in that space with you, not even necessarily have a solution or come up with great ideas, right? The 10 ways that you can eliminate your debt, to simply be in that space with you. And that happened for that man. By the way, he said an interesting thing started happening. He was able to renegotiate with all of his creditors. He found the energy and the confidence to ask. Some of them went ahead and eliminated the debt because it was past a certain period. And then his clients started offering payment. They started contacting him. He didn't have to start making the calls. He did eventually. But people who owed him for several visits, like 6 months of treatments and more, started contacting him and say, hey, I have the money now. I'd like to start giving you the money. Everything turned around for him. And his practice began to grow. And he eventually opened more offices. And that's the power of just having someone who's standing with you. They don't even know how it could happen. They don't even know the solution. But to have someone stand there with you without judgment. Well, what happened to me? I'll tell you exactly what happened to me. There was all this big, grand stuff going on, and people are commanding for castles, and people are slaying dragons, and they're beating down their debt, and they're asking for huge amounts of money. And I had what felt like a really small thing, but it was big for me. And what I wanted was a way that I could have a group of people that I could serve deeply and share my gifts with. And what that looked like to me was being in a house. And I had such a clear image of what that house looked like, because at the time I was working in the apartment industry, and my apartment was part of my pay package. It was not free because I had to work for that, but it bound me, and it really made it difficult to make some leaps of faith because my housing was part of my pay package, and it was hard to create that extra income to get into another place to where I could start doing my business. There's so many stories around that, but I'm not going to tell you all of them. But I will tell you this, that when I said that I don't know how I have a group of people that I can share my gifts with, and it was a circle of people that I was sitting with. People said that was too small. Catherine, that's not big enough. And maybe we have little dreams and we think it's really big, but we very rarely have people say, ask for more. You deserve more. You're capable of more. We're witnessing more for you. Don't be afraid to ask. And then that's where there's this house and I see it. And then, of course, there's the classes I'm going to be teaching. There's this and this. But at its core, what the emotion was me with a group of people. What happened as a result of that, of me saying, this is my dream and this is how I want it. Because a lot of times people are going to try to tell you that your dream's not good enough or that you need to adjust it. But I knew what I wanted. I just wanted to be witnessed. It wasn't very long that, still working the job, after this had happened, I was working the job, and I had an idea to start That said, hey, I want to get some testimonials. I know these techniques. I want to use the technique. And I put out a little email, and at the time was a Yahoo group. And I said, I'm looking for test subjects for this. And I was expecting maybe over the next couple of weeks, I get 3 or 4 in, and I would be really happy. I was not expecting over 100 people to respond, and these were only 15-minute sessions, and people were stopping, going, "What is this again? What are you? What is this called?" And I explained to them what I was doing, and then I told them I had a little 6-package session, 6-session package, pardon me, that I was selling, and that it was, available to them for a certain price. Now, at the time, I was making $15 an hour, so I based the package on $60 an hour, which didn't sound like much by today's standards, but that was 4 times what I was making. And within 3 weeks, I had people who were referring other people. I was working with these whole groups with people all over the world. And that gave me the money to say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and move into an apartment. And how am I going to pay for the apartment? I'm going to have sessions. And then from that, I was there for 6 months and I started promoting classes. And then I started teaching the classes. And then I had the circles. And then Asara came to visit me. It was 6 to 9 months later. No, it had to be about nine months or so after that. And she walked into my home, saw the beautiful tree, saw how it was decorated, saw the chairs in a circle, and she said, "Catherine, this is everything you wanted." And I said, "And more." Because from that one little leap of faith and that little idea that I was able to take inspired action on, and I started getting feedback and acting upon the positive feedback and following all those signs, it gave me the courage to keep taking the next step. That circle, by the way, turned into a worldwide phenomenon. We, at one point, when I was with Asara full time, we're not partners anymore. We're still lifelong friends, and I'm running the Commanding Well seminars. But at one point, we had students in 17 countries, and we were supporting people, and there was something like 500 circles around the world, and that came from that one little idea. And that's what can happen with your one little idea. So how the circle works, I kind of explained through what here, but how it's going to work in this format, which is a virtual format. For a long time, I did them live, and soon I'm moving to the East Coast, and my living situation is going to be changing, and I'm really excited about that. So maybe we'll be starting up some live circles again. But until then, we're going to be doing virtual circles via Zoom meetings. And in the description on this page, I have the link where you can register. And what we do is we get on the call, and it is very interactive. I don't know how many people are going to be on this. We run about 15 to 20 people, but there could be more. So what I did is I designed a little form to asking you what it is that you want to attract, create, or manifest. What do you feel like is stopping you, and how we can support you. And then that way I can go through and get the information, and there may be some hot seats, but we're going to be going through this process called the One Command, and it's an amazing meditation, and there's more to talk about it than what I can explain here. But it really is about helping you manifest your desires, giving you the tools. So we're not going to be teaching just the royal we. Hello, everybody. I'm not going to be teaching and sharing the One Command technique. I'm going to be sharing with you the actual techniques that get incredible results for my clients. The very first group is going to be on Tuesday, May 7th. I've got the link where you can register. And when you register for that, it registers for all of the upcoming circles, which is going to be running until the end of August. Okay, because winter we start getting busy with the holidays and everything. But I want to use this really powerful time of the summer, with summer and these amazing energies, for us to focus so that you can either, reset or create or take your life to the next level. Wherever it is that you're at, we want to be there to help you. Okay, so the way it works, you'll sign up for the Zoom, you'll get your confirmation, and then you can add it to your calendar, whether it's the iCal or Google or Apple Calendar, whatever you're on. And if you can't attend, I want to encourage you to still please register, because that'll give you the alerts for the other ones. But then you'll be sure and join the TOC Money Mindset Mastery Facebook group, because that's where I host the replays. Okay, so if you have any questions, be sure and post them for me. Let me check over in the comments right quick and see if there's any questions. Let's see here. Let me share the screen. Get back to that. Hang on. Let's see if I can get into that. Where is it? How do I get there? I have not got to present in a long time. So this is the basic call details, but then I wanted to share with you what the Zoom registration looked like. Let me see if this will show. No, it's not going to show. I can't make that happen right now. But the Zoom link will just take you to the registration, and then you'll get email reminders for that. Okay? All right. So I don't see any questions or anything else, but to register, you're going to go to the bit.ly link. It is in the description, but you could go to the capital bit.ly / and they're all caps on the first letter. So Virtual Commanding Wealth Circle. And go there and you can register. All right. Well, that's all for today. I hope to see you there. I am so excited to be back with the group, with my friends, and I can hardly wait to find out what you're up to, and just how we can support you in your dreams. So until next time, this is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach of Witness Your Mastery. Bye-bye, everybody.